All right, Nick. First off, how you doing? Second off, just wanted to cover a few basic things here with this program specific to 8A. I hope to cover a lot of things with you on Friday, so you don't have any more questions. I know that covering some of these movements will be helpful for you, maybe like the morning of when you come in. So I want to make sure you feel comfortable with that. So I'll cover those movements, and I'll cover anything else you have, but kind of like the minute or logistics of it all, I want to cover with you tomorrow. So I'm just going to stick with just the programs, all right? So with the warm-up, it's going to be the same as you did with me, week number 4 of this 9-week phase. So you can see I have 2 weeks printed out now, right? Where normally, just because of obviously the circumstances, this isn't complete. You're going to have to speak with Joe about how that's going to work. But normally, I would work out 9, the whole program, and there you go. You have nothing to do for the next 9 weeks. You put up the front, and it's good because you can kind of really, when you program these, if you are the one programming them, it's best to kind of see the big picture. It's like, okay, I'm doing this one in week 1, and this is the prerequisite for the one I'm going to do in week 2, and then I'm really going to challenge them in week 3. But by doing those 2 before it, it makes week 3s easier. So you can really start to see the bigger picture. Now, when you're coaching in week 1, you know that I have to get them to understand this, so that in weeks 2, or phase 2 and phase 3, once they get that, those ones I want to do with them later and challenge them with, it'll be easier. So now you actually understand why you're doing it. And when you understand why you're doing it, now you're going to push them. Now you're going to stay on top of them. It's just it's just natural. That's all it is. It's just natural. So that's why having a plan and having the program right in front of you and even building it yourself is best. So anyways, besides that, I want to cover more of that on another day. So I'm going to cover the warm-up in a moment, but I want to go through the 6 movements that you already went through. We got the deadlift. They got to choose any one of the 3, sumo, conventional, and trap bar. We're going to cover that tomorrow, the difference between the 3, very quickly. Then we have, they're sticking with 4 reps throughout the phase, all right? So they're going to try and progress. Since it's the same reps, they're going to progress. Hey, you did 200 last week? Well, this week we got to do at least 205, right? Or and then the week after, 210, right? That's progress. Even if it's just 2.5s on each side, period, that's progress. So don't, they're going to try to shortchange themselves with, oh, it's only 2.5s. No, 2.5 is a big deal, right? From 1 week, it's a big deal. Imagine if they did that for 12 weeks. That's 60 pounds, right? Now what? That'd be amazing, right? So anyways, that's that. We're trying to have them just progress a little bit. The second movement was the depth drop jump. So that just remains the same. You have the small turquoise box, blue box, or the highest would be the red box. Some people, they're not ready to jump because this movement is all about reaction time, speed, and you need a lot of that reactive strength, which a lot of the clients here don't have. So for a lot of them, we just work on the landing. Leg out, land, and just, hey guys, do me 2 per side there. It's 2 per side, and just work on that. If you feel comfortable, try to have the jump, but we're trying to really mostly work on landing mechanics. So feet wide, feel the placement through the arches of your feet, knees low, hips low, and you want them to stick it for 3 seconds at the bottom. A lot of people, for instance, Ted, Andy, anybody really, they're gonna jump, they're gonna leap off, they're gonna jump, they'll land and they'll just do this. Right? And they didn't even bother sticking the landing, they didn't even bother absorbing the force, they just took it in the knees, right? So they wanna freeze, catch it, and then they're gonna rest, as you did, for at least 30 seconds, if not more, before the next trap bar deadlift. The second movements are the dual kettlebell reverse lunge and the 4-foot bridge on foam roller, the hook line bridge. So 30 seconds is gonna remain the same. The cues on that is, hey guys, get your heels up, okay? And you want their weight on the V of the shoe, right? V of the Vivo. So that's where you're gonna go on to. Heels are up, toes relaxed, reach and breathe, all right? I've actually been 30 seconds. I want to change that to 8 breaths because otherwise people just look at the clock rather than just focusing on what's happening internally. So for a lot of ISOs, and that's what I'll do, just in general, is, hey, don't bother for seconds. except for maybe the iso split squat. But for anything else, usually it's focused on breath, so that they focus on themselves and they're not doing this, right? So just kind of a general rule, stuff like that I want to talk to you about tomorrow. The reverse lunge is 8 per side. So for a movement like this, Nick, next week we want to try and encourage them to do more reps. So it says 8 per side. Next week, and I'm going to talk to you again about this on Friday, so in person you can actually ask me questions. But 8 per side, next week we're going to do 10 per side. The week after, week 3, we're going to go back down to 8. So let's say you did 25 week 1 for 8, now you do 25 for 10. Then, by then, you should be at least a little bit stronger than week 1. So we're going to challenge you, hey, grab 30s for 8. So now you have a chance to adapt, and now we're going to challenge you again. So that's station number 2. Station number 3, you did this one, single arm kettlebell swing clean, the shot put squat. So the thumbs facing down, hike it underneath, squeeze the butt, breathe in, breathe out. You got 5 per side there. Then I'll do the shot put squat, I'll clean it. We're gonna do 5 per side there. Squat, turn the body, rotate, keep the kettlebell close, hug it to your chest, elbow in close to it as well. Turn back, breathe in, rotate and twist, okay? And then you do that 5 one side, then we'll switch, swing for 5, shot put squat for 5, all right? As soon as they finish that, they get the iso bear crawl dumbbell pull through, which is gonna remain 8 per side. If they wanted to challenge themselves more, they can grab a heavier weight. If they felt challenged enough, which for this movement, again, it's not always about the weight, it's sometimes about the position. And so it's like, hey guys, if you did 20 pounds, that was really challenging. This week, let's go back in, and really the weight doesn't really matter for an exercise like this. It really, I mean, to a point it does when you progress far enough, but in the beginning it's just like, can you just lift up one hand, reach across your body, and pull anything across? It could be 5 pounds without your hips moving, right? The goal is keep my knees isometrically coming in, adducting, and keep my butt up, right? So sit bones up so I don't start to round. Can I keep those two and feel that burn in my abs and my thighs while I do that? And instead of resorting to round the back and pull, right? Or drop my head and pull. So it's like, can you even just do this with the right position, all right? So that covers kind of like the basics of the phase. For the warm-up, for the supine flow, if you're very familiar with this, I just like to start off with this. People need to do this. They're just doing it twice a week with me now. They need to do it a lot more. So you're familiar with the supine breathing, the supine flow, which by the way, FLO, I say flow like that. For me, that meant like the flow that we do, like, and all this breathing stuff. Like that's like a flow because we're focused on doing the same thing, no matter what position I'm in. I could be standing on one leg, or if you bent over. When I say flow, it means you're trying to do the same thing, which is long spine, as if someone's doing traction on your spine, okay? Exhale hard, try to bring all that energy into the bottom of your abs, around the belt height, and reach your shoulder blades forward and slightly up. So protract and elevate, because we're trying to turn off the lats and turn on the serratus, and then it's just breathing into my posterior, right? So if I'm doing any, and then it's also sit bones up, right? So if I can do that combination of all of them, and I can do it in any position, and I say, hey guys, we're on an RDL flow, that means my whole goal would be to get into that position and continue to do those things. Traction my spine, how long can my spine be? Can I get my sit bones up? Can I reach my shoulder blades forward? Can I get breath into my back? And that's the idea, okay? So supine flow is simply that. It says add legs up, which we've done, which just adds more tension to the hips and abs, all right? So it's 45 seconds per set, Nick, so do 45 with the supine, and then for the legs up, you could do the second half of the second set. So the supine flow should be like 45 seconds, buzz the sound for 10, still have them go. And that second set, about halfway, I would say, guys, bring your legs up. So we want the supine flow itself is 2 minutes. The last quarter is the legs up. We got the iso bear crawl hip shift. So in this position, bear crawl position, butt up, knees close, I can only fit a fist between my knees. I'll lift it up, and then one knee down to the floor, tap it, the other knee goes towards the ceiling. I'm trying not to move my upper half, just my lower half. I want them to feel their groin. So I encourage them to keep their knees close. We got the standing hip caps of the car, in the global car. So stand tall, bottom knee soft, knee same high as the hip, external rotation, internal rotation. And do that for 5 per direction, feeling back pocket and external rotation, front pocket and internal rotation. Then once I do 5 per side, I'll do 1 full global car. That's halfway, return back, and then I'll do the other side, right? Make sure they're radiating to about 30 to 50%. Okay, stationary walking lunge. So what we're looking for here is actually, we want them to stay narrow with the step, breathing in as they head down and tap the toe, exhaling when they come up. So it's exaggerate the arm pump, okay, without, breathe in, physically touch the toe. You can see how narrow I am here. I am not overstepped. Now exhale, push the heel, stand up. All right, exhale. And I'll alternate, okay? Once they get into it, you know, worry more about just the breath in and the breath out, and they'll figure out the rest as far as I try and time it. Last one's the pogo lateral down call out. So pogos is just jump up and down the balls of your feet. So heels don't touch. Nice loose upper half. When you say jump, you're gonna jump off the ball of one foot, land on the ball of the other foot, and just don't miss a beat. Just go one to the other. And you'll call it out when you're ready. That'll be for 45. All right. As soon as you're done, wrap it up, guys. Grab sheets. Let's do it. All right. Don't miss any time. So that is for the 8A. If you got questions, we'll cover it tomorrow.